Hi there, Karen Flaherty here from Living by Human Design. Hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be talking about the Gate 57 for the Human Design Weather Report, and it's all about intuition. Okay, so the Gate 57, which is the Gate of Intuition, started yesterday, October 8th, and it'll go until October 13th, next Wednesday. Then the Earth is in the Gate 51, which is the Gate of Shock. So together we've got intuition and shock, and they're both pretty potent energies in the human design chart. And actually, the Sun, Mars, and Mercury are all on Gate 57 for the start of this week. So as of Friday, we had 57 in the Sun up here. Then we have it in Mercury. It's already a little ways through that, as we saw from last week. And then the Mars has just started in the line 1 in the 57. So that just moved in there. And so Mercury will be moving out in a few days. So, but what this gives us is this continuation. The Gate 57 is right here, coming off the spleen. It's one of the fear gates. And besides being the gate of intuition, it's the fear of the future. And it's something that really occurs for most of humanity a lot of the time, and especially, as you can imagine, in a pandemic. So all week we do have the Gate 57 there, which will define the spleen, because we also have the 20 and the 34 defining the sacral here and the throat here. And so everyone still feels like they have throat energy, like they have a motorized throat and they can talk as much as they want or make their voice heard. And with the sacral, they've got energy to go and go and go. And so, I'll just say the warning again, if you're hearing this for the first time. If you are a projector, a manifestor, or reflector, and you don't usually have sacral energy, please be aware of the energy that you're going to be feeling from now through January 17th, because it's a lot of energy. You're taking in a lot of energy all the time, and you need a break. So please watch your energy, do things that make sense for you. Don't, go to the, just as an example, go to the gym, run a few errands, and then, wait until much later in the evening to have dinner, when you would usually go to the gym and then have dinner. Do you know what I mean? It's just an example that came across my desk this week, and that doesn't always work for open sacral people. And so you want to just watch your energy, because that can lead to, a very tired feeling, fatigue, and perhaps even burnout if you did it for this entire fall season. So we don't want you doing that. So this is the channel of charisma. It actually, because it connects in so many different ways, it's actually called a lot of different channels. We've got the 2034, which is the channel of charisma, which is always nice to have. You've got the 57 to the 20, which is called the brainwave. It's literally going from this gate of intuition, right? This splenic intuitive feeling right up to the throat. And so it's like the brainwave. It's like it's just coming out. It's not really going through the brain, but it's definitely coming out. And then from the 57 to the 34, going into the sacral, this is called the channel of power. So this is nice to have also. And it's a very, combination of intuition and somebody who can use their intuitive abilities to multitask, right? And get a lot done. All the planets are still retrograde this week, except for Pluto, which went direct on Thursday. And so the rest of them, Mercury retrograde will continue, and so will all the those outer planets that have been retrograde for a while now. But they will be, just so you know, coming up in the next few weeks, most of them will be going direct, and things hopefully will settle down a little bit. So in just one final note, so the 57 is over here coming off the spleen. The 51, which was in the earth, is coming off the will center. And as I said, that is the gate of shock. So we've got the sun in the gate 57 and the earth in gate 51. This gate 57 called intuition, or intuitive clarity, or even the gentle, because it's about a very gentle type of intuitive energy that you can use for yourself or for other people or for the situations that you're in. You can use it, whenever you need to. And so they say that it's the extraordinary power of clarity. In the incarnation crosses, this week we've got the cross of penetration, because it can be a very penetrating kind of energy. It can be almost like, because someone else might intuitively get you or understand you. We call it the cross of penetration. It's also the juxtaposition cross of intuition, and the left angle cross of clarion. And in the gene keys, we'll talk about that in a second, but unease is the shadow, intuition is the gift, and clarity is the CD. So with shock, it's also called the arousing, as you could imagine. It can arouse definitely a reaction in people. It's doing or saying shocking things, or having shocking things happen to you or said to you. And so it's the ability to respond to disorder and shock through recognition and adaptation. So the idea is to have the shocking thing occur and then be able to move forward with your goals to get closer to whatever it was initiating you into. We call this the channel of initiation. It's actually helping to get you closer to your own goals. So in the gene keys, agitation is the shadow. You can imagine shocking things happening can be very agitating. Initiative is the gift, and awakening is the CD. So when it comes to the gate 57, Richard Rudd says clarity is all there is. And what he means by this is like clarity is the end point, right? We can use our intuition if we choose to. Everyone has intuition. Everyone has the gate 57 in their chart. We all have all of the gates, but sometimes we don't use them. And sometimes we don't have them consistently, but we all have all of the gates. And so gate 57 is one that's really nice to have because it is about intuition. It is about finding out or really feeling or instinctually understanding what's there for you and what you can trust instinctively, and how you can use your intuition to make decisions. It's all about survival in the spleen and in this gate 57. And so the more, obviously most of us don't come up against, bears or things that are going to affect our survival every single day. And yet we act like it. Right? We act as if there's an anxiety present all the time that is going to eat us up, right? That things are so that we can't trust our intuition enough to keep us safe. And that's not true. We really can trust it to keep us safe, as well as helping us in the world to make decisions. And so if you don't use your intuition, I, highly suggest trying it, suggest trying to use it in a way that works for you. Many of us all of us really have gotten to use our minds way too much. I mean, if you think back to the caveman days when they would literally feel the rumbling beneath their feet of herd of bison passing by, that's the gate. That's the gate 57. It's intuiting through the sound waves, right, that were coming through their feet, that they could feel in their bodies. That's the intuition that kept them alive, that kept them fed, that kept them all their family safe, is by following those clues that they would get through their intuition. And so they didn't use their minds quite as much. They were much more in the present, and as a result, they could enjoy the present as much as they could. Making sure that the fire was working and they had a cave for the night and they had something to eat. Those they were in the present, right? And so we get the choice to do that as well. Most of us don't live in the present. Most of us are either thinking about the past or thinking about the future. And this gate 57 is about the future, but it's the fear of the future, right? It's the fear that things might not work out. It's the fear of what's coming. It's the fear of not knowing what's coming. And so it really plays into our consciousness quite a bit. It's really the unease of the shadow here is really, especially during the pandemic, right, a big part of humanity's lower vibrations around fear. And so with the gate 57, the higher we can raise our vibration, the better we'll feel, the better we'll have more intuition, the better we'll be able to access our intuition and really not pay as much attention to the mind. And then with the CD, the gift moves into the CD, which is clarity. And it's really having clarity around what you want to do, how you want to be, and having clarity that you'll be safe, that you'll be taken care of. When we can have that clarity, we feel so much better. And so, as Richard says, clarity is all there is. If you can get to the point of clarity, then you've won the battles of the intuition, and you won't have the anxiety that many of us feel about the future. He even says, every time you trust in your intuition or make a decision based on it, you raise the frequency of your whole aura. And so that's what we're about. This is a really great period to be doing that. to be coming up with new stories, to be coming up with, reinventing yourself or coming up with a way to be in the new normal as we move forward. And he also says clarity is the realization that everything is linked through gentleness. Because if you know anybody who really trusts their intuition, who trusts that they're safe, who trusts that they're, as I heard at a conference this week, who trusts that they're never going to be homeless and never going to be hungry, if you have a way of accessing that feeling of really embracing that feeling, then you'll have that clarity that everything can be gentle. Everything can be seen in a much more gentle way than perhaps we're seeing it right now. It's also, by the way, a good time to, if you're thinking about it or you're working either with a partner or either a business partner, romantic partner, or just working on your own, it's a really good time to tap into that intuition and write down what it is you really want. What do you want around your, just 10 items or so that you can make a list and give it to the universe. Make a list that incorporates all the pieces that make you feel good, let's say about your job or your business or your relationship or your health or your next trip. Any of those things you can, kind of create or co-create a list about will help you to know how you want to take steps going forward. And it's not so much about you taking steps, it's about you having the feeling of this list that allows you then to realize and trust that it's going to be coming, that it's all yours for, trusting that it will be coming and that it will be there for you. So I hope you might take some time to do that exercise. It's a real quick exercise. Just write down 10 or 12 things that make you feel good about that piece of your life. And you can do one or a few of them. And it's a great time to do that. So as usual, we've got a number of personalities born this week, including John Lennon and Sean Lennon, which I didn't know. Sean was born on John's birthday. So that's kind of cool. And Ben Vereen, Bella Hadid, the model, Luciano Pavarotti, the famous opera singer, Margaret Thatcher. So you can imagine she was a course of penetration, and that certainly fits right with her persona. Sacha Baron Cohen, the comedian and film producer, who's quite provocative. Thelonious Monk, the jazz musician and writer. Dick Gregory, a very famous activist as well as comedian during the 60s and 70s. And very, very much involved in the civil rights movement. Eleanor Roosevelt, Charles Walgreen, who was started the first chain pharmacy in the United States, and Sigourney Weaver, the actress. There are a number of things that happened this week. Nothing really to do with intuitiveness, although Saturday Night Live started in 1975, if you can believe it, on October 11th. They're now in their 52nd season. And the America Online in 2000 became the biggest, richest, and most successful internet company during that period. Of course, Columbus Day is on Monday, and in 1492, he landed in the Bahamas. And the first mobile phone service for public use started in 1983. If you can imagine, that's not even 30 years ago that the first mobile phones were used, and now what would we do without them, right? So use your intuition this week. Realize that other people might have their intuitive antennas up as well, and have a good time kind of delving into what fears you might have about the future and what fears you can let go of so that you can feel better about where we are now. So have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.